Hello everyone, and thank you again for checking out my channel. In this series, I'm explaining to you why it's very important and crucial that you do invest in Dubai real estate. In the first video, I explained hedging and how it applies to your rent paying. In the second video, I explained why it's more favorable if you allocate your investment towards the UAE where you live versus repatriating your money back to your home country. In this video, I'll explain why it's not the best option to go with a mortgage. Mortgage is usually the alternative for everyone looking to acquire real estate. As the cost of living and rental costs are hiking, I can understand why people would resort to mortgages, because the way they think is that if I'm paying for rent, I might as well pay it towards something which I will eventually own, which makes some sense. However, I have some reservations with mortgages, and in this video, I will explain to you why I'm not a big fan of mortgages. My name is Al-Dahoud, and I hope you find this video helpful. The number one reason that I'm not a big fan of mortgages is because you will introduce a third party to your transaction. That third party is only there to make a profit at your expense. So if you are party number one looking to buy a house from party number two, which is looking to sell a house, and you agree on a valuation of $1 million dirham to buy their house, which you would live in. Now, if you introduce a bank, that bank wants to make profit. They're not doing out of their kindness of their heart. They are there to make a profit from this transaction. So all of a sudden, rather than buying this house for $1 million dirham, this house will eventually cost you $1.5 million dirhams. Now you're paying a lot more extra for the house, which you would have bought otherwise for only $1 million dirhams. Now you're getting the benefit of obviously not having to pay that 1 million dirham in cash immediately today, which is very understandable. So in your mind, this is a fair transaction. I'm paying for the future value, for the present value of money I'm receiving from the bank, and my future obligation to pay that money in the future. Now, this is how a mortgage transaction works in very simple terms. But again, the reason I'm not a big fan of this style of transaction is because you're paying substantially extra to a third party, and you are losing substantial value from your property by going through a mortgage. Now, the other main reservation I have with a mortgage is the way the calculation of the mortgage works. And they will not tell you that information up front. But the way mortgages work is that if you are paying a fixed amount every month or every year towards that mortgage, in the earlier years, you're paying a lot more towards the mortgage than you are paying towards your house. This is what they call front loading. So effectively, let's say you buy this house for $1 million dirhams, it will end up being 1.5 million if you do it through a mortgage. And let's say in the first year, for simplicity purposes, you're gonna have to pay 100,000 dirhams back to that mortgage. Out of that 100,000 dirhams, I would say probably 10,000 dirhams is going towards the value of the house, and 90,000 dirhams is going to the interest payment for the bank. So the bank is making sure they're getting all their money up front, and whatever money is getting paid towards the property which you're acquiring is paid in the subsequent years. In the later years, your interest component will be very small, but your principal towards the house will be the larger component. So if you decide to change your mind and you no longer want the mortgage, you will have two problems. If you tell the bank, I want to terminate the mortgage, they will charge you a penalty fee for early termination. And that's another cost you probably didn't budget for. But what will be more surprising is that if you terminate that mortgage early, you will find that you haven't paid almost anything towards that towards that unit that you acquired. Most of the amount you paid in the earlier years has gone towards interest and not towards the value or the principal of your investment. I know a lot of people who have done mortgages, and almost every single one of them regrets doing it. I know even people who have done mortgages, and by the time they finalized and sold the property and closed their mortgage, they ended up paying a lot more than they would have done otherwise on rent, or if they just done it on a simple transaction. And most people, if not all, will end up in a loss position. Again, that's my personal opinion. I'm just giving you the information so you can make the best decision that will help you the most. Thank you again for watching my channel, and I hope you have a wonderful day.